So Donald Trump is finally turning on Mike Pence. Pence, who has been able to escape the ire of Donald Trump relative to other officials in the White House, is finally getting the glare from Donald Trump, all because seemingly Mike Pence won't jump 100% into Donald Trump's deluded fantasies about the election. And so, new reporting says the following. I want to read you some, and we'll break it down a little bit. It says here, President Trump in his final days is turning bitterly on virtually every person around him, griping about anyone who refuses to indulge conspiracy theories or hopeless bids. Targets of his outrage include Mike Pence, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, White House Counsel Pat Cipollone, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Trump thinks everyone around him is weak, stupid, or disloyal, and increasingly seeks comfort only in people who egg him on. We cannot stress enough how unnerved Trump officials are by the conversations unfolding inside the White House. Top officials are trying to stay away from the West Wing right now. Trump is lashing out and everyone is in the blast zone. At this point, if you're not in the quote-unquote use the Department of Homeland Security or the military to impound machines camp, the president considers you weak and beneath contempt. It also notes here that he may be firing Pat Cipollone, his White House counsel, because he's not loyal enough, and replace him with some kind of loony bin, person that's egging him on. And so what you're seeing there is very clear. Mike Pence, really for the first time, is included in this group of people that Trump sees as disloyal to him, that aren't 100% backing him. Even if they've been with Trump all the way through thick and thin, even when it's been absolutely inappropriate and irrational to be with Donald Trump. Like, Trump was awful before this, and they were with him. But even this is too far from them. For Trump, people that are 99% loyal to him are 0% loyal to him. And Pence being involved here is very significant for a couple reasons. One, it's his VP. You can't fire your VP. You can't fire him. You are stuck with him. You could maybe, in an election, choose a different running mate. You can maybe try to have him impeached or something, I guess. But the fact of the matter is, your VP is with you, and they're supposed to be one of your closest advisors. And the fact that Trump seemingly doesn't trust Mike Pence anymore, or Pence doesn't trust Trump, shows just how much, the system has collapsed in the Republican Party, in the White House, in the Oval Office. But it also matters, and I'm going to read you a little bit more, because Mike Pence plays a very particular role in the transition of power and in the validation of election results. I'm going to read this to you. Pence's role on January 6 has begun to loom large in Trump's mind, according to people who've discussed the matter with him. Trump would view Pence performing its constitutional duty and validating the election result as the ultimate betrayal. Trump has even been asking advisors whether they can get state legislatures to rescind electoral votes. When he's told no, he lashes out even more, said a source who discussed the matter with the president. And in an Oval Office meeting Monday night, Trump spoke with House Republicans about voting to overturn the result, a desperate vote that even Trump has privately acknowledged he's bound to lose. So you can see here a couple things. One, Trump is continuing to meet with any kind of crony in the GOP that's willing to indulge him, whether they're just doing it to stay on Trump's good side because they know the MAGA base still loves Trump, or whether they're actually in this with Trump and want Trump to go through with it and hope it succeeds. The fact of the matter is, Pence is in a really tough place, because the way it works is that when the House and Senate formally, accredit and certify the results, the vice president, who is the president of the Senate, is the final person that puts the seal on the documents and all those sorts of things and makes it official. Joe Biden did that 4 years ago. When Trump became president formally, it was Vice President Joe Biden, who was on his way out of office, who formally led the way for Donald Trump and Mike Pence to take the presidency and vice presidency, respectively. Now, it's a purely ceremonial role. Pence actually isn't making any decisions here, but it's one of the few jobs the VP has, and Donald Trump seems to be blaming Mike Pence for it. And if you've been watching other coverage on Pence over the last few days. I know Farron Cousins did a great video on this, so did the Young Turks. Go check those out. But they did really good analyses about how Pence is leaving the country. Like, he's basically packing his bags and fleeing the United States right after this vote. He's going to go on a series of diplomatic visits. It's not necessarily clear what officially he's doing, but he's going to be out of the country. And a lot of people are saying that's on purpose, because he's going to make this vote because it's his job. He's going to piss Trump off, and then he's going to get out of Dodge so Trump can't be mad at him, in Washington. And he can say, well, I'm just doing my job as a representative of the U.S. government abroad. And, I don't want to comment on, past things. I'm here representing our interests. Leave all questions to that. And he can hide away from Trump and hide away from the accreditation, post-certification fallout. And it's very interesting. Look, I have no sympathy for Mike Pence. I think what he's trying to do very clearly is save his political career. Mike Pence would have 100% gone down the absolute rabbit hole with Trump if he felt it could succeed. If this election was closer and they really feel they could pilfer it from the American people, Pence would have been right there with Trump, basically being there as vice dictator Trump. He would have 100% done it. No doubt in my mind. And now Pence realizes that isn't possible, and that there is the potential that there's the long-term damage done being associated with Donald Trump, that he wants to do the minimum possible, say the minimum possible, get out of the country, and then maybe in a couple years come back and still have a career. And hopefully, because he's never really gone directly against Trump like some Republicans have, he hasn't really come out and formally acknowledged the results like McConnell and other top Republicans have in some cases, that he might not fully anger the Trump base. So he's trying to walk a tightrope here. He's trying to walk a tightrope. Be responsible enough to not indulge Trump so that the mainstream, of the party, the party establishment and the media and all those figures don't tar you with the Trump, brand forever, but don't attack Trump so that you're considered, disloyal to the MAGA brand. But I don't think it's going to work. I think that regardless of what Mike Pence has done, given that he's enabled Trump for these past 4 years, he will always be remembered as the vice president who would have wanted to be a dictator if he thought it was possible.